Hi, I'm Question Telka, owner of Reconcile Financials, a bookkeeping and accounting firm specializing in nonprofit and real estate investment. I make tutorials to help empower clients, bookkeepers, and other accounting professionals. Today's tutorial is covering QuickBooks Online and setting up corporate credit cards. This is really meant for corporate credit card accounts where each individual cardholder has to be connected with its own bank feed, as does a payment account potentially as its own bank feed as well. So we're going to cover how to set it up in the chart of accounts. We'll also talk about how to reconcile it and then what to do at the end of the month in order to get a nice tidy balance sheet. The first thing that we need to do is make sure that we have our structure in the chart of accounts set up to function how we want it to. I'm going to guess that most of you are probably midway through this process struggling to figure out how exactly to set this up because it's a more unique situation for a credit card setup. And you probably already have some individual card holders listed, and you've received your credit card statement maybe, and you can see that all of your individual card holders are all now on one bank statement, and you're saying, how am I going to reconcile this? So the way that we're going to do that is by creating a main account. So this main account here is the account that we're going to reconcile, and it's going to be a parent account for all of your individual card holders along with whatever payment account you have. So some credit card accounts actually set up an account number that all of the payments go to, but you won't see any expenses coming out of that. It also needs its own account. So set up your main account first. And then if you already have some individual card holders and they're connected to your bank feed, then go ahead and make those sub accounts of your main account. You can do that by going into the edit here and then changing the drop down. Does anybody else miss the old chart of account setup? I miss it. Maybe I'll get used to this one eventually. But you'll choose your main account so that you then have this account as a sub of your main. So after we do that, then we can take a look in our bank feed. So if we take a look in the bank feed, we can see that the parent account I was telling you about does not have a bank feed set up. However, all of these transactions that we categorize from the bank feed will show up in that main parent account when we take a look at it, because all of the transactions of the sub accounts are fed up into that main account. So we need to add all of our transactions, which I'm going to go ahead and add these as credit card payments. And we'll just get all of these categorized. It really wants to make a rule for me. Okay, so now if we go back and take a look at our chart of accounts and refresh the screen here, and we scroll down and just take a look at the B of A account, you can see that there are now balances in each of my cardholder accounts because I've added those expense transactions and, in this particular case, the payments. So the next thing that we need to do, I want to show you in the B of A main account that you can see all of the transactions in this register from your sub accounts. So as you can see, they're all showing up here. So if we go back out to our chart of accounts, the next thing that we need to do is reconcile it. So in order to reconcile it, again, as I mentioned, we're just going to go to the reconcile screen. And we're going to choose the B of A main as our account. And the ending balance on my statement is $725.38. And the ending date is January 31st. So if we start reconciling, we can see that all of the transactions that we added from all of our sub accounts are in the main account, and we have a $0 difference. So now what we're going to do is finish our reconciliation, and then we still have one more step that we need to make before we're finished. The last thing that we need to do is take a look at our balance sheet and make an entry in order to make it look pretty. It's not mandatory, but it looks a lot tidier and it can prevent questions later, especially at the end of the year. So run your report for the last month or whatever the appropriate time period is if your statement isn't run on a monthly basis. And then take a look in your credit card liability. So we can see the main account, and then we have the payment and the sub card holders or individual card holders here. The payment account has a debit balance, and all of these other card holders have credit balances. If we don't make a journal entry or use an expense form to make this entry, these balances will just continue to grow. They will be correct, or I'm sorry, the main balance will be the correct balance in the overall corporate credit card account that you have. However, the payment account will continue to be a higher debit balance, and these will continue to be higher credit balances. And that can raise questions at the end of the year during tax time, or if you're a nonprofit and you're being audited. So I just recommend making this entry so that at the end of the month, everything looks nice and tidy. So the way that you're going to do that is go into your journal entry, and then you're going to enter your debits first. And since we're reducing the liability in our credit card accounts, our sub accounts, and moving them to our main account, those are going to be debit entries. So go ahead and put those card account numbers in here. Oops. And then the credit balance is going to be the main account, or I'm sorry, not the main account, the payments account. I lied. And then you will enter the balances as of your last statement date on these accounts. And then you're going to add a credit balance for the payment account. And if you want to put a memo or description, go ahead. And then if we save and close. Now, if we go back into our report and we refresh it, we can see that we've moved all of the balances into the payment account, and this now matches the ending balance of our credit card statement, and it looks very pretty and clean and tidy. I recommend doing this at the end of your statement dates as well as the end of your either fiscal or calendar year, even if it doesn't match your statement date. So then you have a nice clean balance sheet for your auditor or tax preparer. So if you want to do this entry as an expense, you can do that as well if you're not familiar with or don't like making journal entries. Everybody has a preference. So I'm going to delete this entry. And in order to do it as an expense, we're going to choose the payment account as the payment account. And then we'll go ahead and enter our sub account or our individual card holders. This has the same impact as a journal entry. It will credit your payment account and debit your individual cardholder accounts. This is just a different method of doing these transactions. You can see your total here. And if you hit save, I'll show you another fun little trick. And if you're familiar with accounting and debits and credits, you can go into the transaction journal and it'll actually show you what has taken place. So you can see that the credit card or the payment account was credited and that these individual cardholder accounts were debited, which is exactly what we wanted to happen. So now if we go back to our report center and look at our balance sheet, we'll see the same effect that the journal entry had here. So this is basically it. It's the last step. You don't have anything else you have to do. I would definitely be interested in hearing what everyone thinks about it or any questions that you have, but this is the method that I like best. It seems to work out really well and is clean and tidy at the end of the month and at the end of the year for your balance sheet. I hope this video really helped you figure out how to set up your corporate credit card accounts in QuickBooks Online. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you would like more information about services that we offer at Reconcile Financials, you can find out at reconcilefinancials.com, or you can email us questions at info@reconcilefinancials.com. Thanks a lot.